What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I appreciate everybody for being here. We're sitting at about $64.7 thousand on Bitcoin as of now. We've had a nice little rally yesterday. The area that we were looking to break, if we were to validate that this was the low, it did happen yesterday. We were looking for about $62.4 to $62.5 thousand to break, and we demolished that with above average volume, the most volume that we've seen since the beginning of the month, right? And really one of the higher volume days that we've seen over the past couple months. Definitely seems like a real move to me. It kind of has a bull trap look to it with this like little hook, right? But I do think it's legitimate, and I actually expect that we find resistance here and probably move down, find a higher low, and then move up after that. But I was definitely not expecting that we would break this zone. I was calling for a lower low to happen this whole time, somewhere between about 49 to 47K specifically, but the possibility to go even lower than that was on the table. These targets are still possible, but I'm taking them off the table now. I'm licking my wounds and accepting that I was wrong, that we are not going to go lower than this low. I'm quite confident now that this is the low. I think it's very obvious that it's the low. And I think it's very obvious to a lot of people. So I think a lot of people in the market who might have been bearish like myself, they might be feeling the FOMO whenever they see a move like this, buying in at the literal like momentary high, and then the price will probably revert back. We'll see some kind of higher low, which is still bullish. And then because they made an emotional move here, perhaps they make an emotional move down here and sell. They're like, haha, I was right all along. And then right then and there, boom, you're invalidated once again. Again, I don't think that we're going to go lower than this low, but I do think that we are either at the point where we find resistance or very close to the point that we find resistance. This 123 moving average is an area that we found support on before. We could be finding resistance on it now. We have found resistance on it before, broken above it, found support, and then moved up. Support. Support here, a little bit of disrespect there, to be completely fair, but tipped it right there. Not all the time is it respect, but a good bit of the time, the 123 moving average, that green line, it is respected on Bitcoin for Bitcoin. So I wouldn't be surprised if we found resistance here. If we take this, again, this high to this low, we are in the golden ratio zone, the 618 to 69. Very common to find resistance in this area, and then move down to either your 0.5 or your 382. I personally am not expecting that we would go too much below that number there, 59.8K. We could, and it would still be fine, but I very much don't think, I would really say that we're probably not going to go below $57,000. I don't think that we do. But right now, 59.8K is kind of the area that I would be focused on. We might not even move that low. We could hold 62K. That is a very prominent area and significant area, so perhaps we do hold that number. At any rate, though, I think, being at this overbought zone right now, we could find a little bit of resistance in this area as we have before, more recently. On the 4-hour, we are overbought. We've been overbought for a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people were looking at this opportunity as bearish divergence, and then the price just kept growing and growing. And now that we have a higher high and that bearish divergence is gone, it's the perfect opportunity for things to move down. And I'll go over some examples of that in a second. But I just think, this volume here, we had a height in volume before this more significant candle here, right? It was actually the candle before, and we didn't go anywhere. When we finally went somewhere, it was with decreasing volume. Moving up with decreasing volume is not normally a good thing, so we really could be at our high point here. It wouldn't surprise me at all. And if we moved up, it would be like very minor amounts, right? But what I was talking about here with this higher high in the RSI being in the overbought zone could actually signal a high, because a lot of people make the mistake. They think that, and I should, maybe not a lot of people, but a lot of like new traders, they think that every high has to come with bearish divergence, and that's not the case. Highs don't need bearish divergence. It's nice, it's a good setup, it's a good signal for traders, but it's not necessary. If we go back here to this point, right, where we had a high, and then this high came in, it looked like bearish divergence. We had a lower high. You actually continued to move up, and it was right after you found your next high, whenever you had that invalidation of this being bearish divergence, that's whenever you started to roll over. And if we look at the price, you can see that too, right? High here, higher high on this move on the RSI, or no, lower high technically. You had your bearish divergence right here, but then you slowly kept crawling up. You invalidated that bearish divergence. People are probably like, oh, the bearish divergence is gone. It's actually time to be bullish. And then you started to move down. Actually, that was the end of your move. So, and you can go back, you can find plenty of examples of that exact scenario where once you get your second high like this, not like once it invalidates the bearish divergence, that's whenever you top off, or even on the oversold zone, once you invalidate the bullish divergence, that's when you bottom out. You don't need bearish divergence to mark a top, but I feel somewhat comfortable, not even somewhat, I feel pretty comfortable calling for this to be a high. And if I'm wrong on that, it's just going to be by a little bit. I do think that we move up or move down soon, but probably again around 62 to 58.8K. If we move below 58.8K, that's fine. I don't think that we're going to move below that low. I feel very confident in saying that that's the low. And I was wrong, and that's okay. I can be wrong, man. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. That's just how it is sometimes. If we look at the weekly RSI here, where we bounced was basically right at the 40 area, an area that we found support on last time. This literally marked the low of our consolidation phase, or actually the low before we moved up. The actual low was back here technically, but the low of this consolidation phase that sent us up, like right before we moved up, was down here on this at this 40 area, 38 area in the RSI. If you notice, whenever we found that low, and actually let me blow this up a little bit. We found that low here on the 4th of September, so that would have been this week right here. It took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks really to have that breakout move initiate. 6 weeks. We found our low 2 weeks ago. I'm not saying it'll take 4 more weeks before we start to see a breakout move. I'm just saying don't get your feelings hurt. Don't get discouraged if we don't do this immediately right now. We can come back. We can consolidate still and work our way up to these points of resistance, and then once we get up there, then we can get our breakout move, right? It doesn't have to happen right now, though it could. It really could, man. You never know. Crypto's crazy that way. But yeah, I think we're going to find resistance here. Probably going to move down. The targets that I'm looking for at a minimum would be around 62K, and then at a maximum, I'm expecting 58.8 thousand, or is it 59.8 thousand? Let me see. It wasn't this fib. It was a different fib. My bad. Let's see. What? Maybe it was this one. Yeah, the golden ratio. Yeah. 59.8 thousand. That's the one. Somewhere down there. If we go below there, it's not the end of the world. We still have that 57.33. Let's call it 57.3K area. I don't think that would break. If that does, okay, maybe there's a little bit of room for panic, but even then, maybe not. But probably down from here, and that's all I got to say. So if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. Things are definitely getting excited, guys. We're probably going to be at new all-time highs any week now, any month now. Maybe not by the end of this month, but sometime in August, it could be promising, if not September. So that's all I got to say. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.